The CBC got access to our energy minister, Marg McQuaig-Boyd, and her chief of staff. The CBC filed a Freedom of Information request to get access to their emails during the time of April 8th and May 28th. So that was, basically deadline time for Trans Mountain. And I guess the first thing I'll say is I'm always glad when Marg McQuaig-Boyd is in the news, because I'm always happy to hear that woman is still alive, because we actually never hear anything from her, and she should be one of the most prominent people in Rachel Notley's cabinet, considering.
Yep.
So, good that we have proof of life. But during that time, when they should have been furiously working on doing whatever they could to save Trans Mountain, their main focus was on Jason Kenney and how the allegedly nonpartisan bureaucrats in the energy ministry could spin the failure of Rachel Notley's government on Trans Mountain as somehow Jason Kenney's doing years earlier.
I mean, time and time again, whether it's the mainstream media or partisan bureaucrats, they keep saying that Stephen Harper and his government made absolutely no progress on pipelines, when that's categorically untrue. And it's the stark contrast between the tone of discussions back in the Harper era is so different than right now, where right now it's all about reconciliation and appeasement, whereas before it was about getting a job done. That doesn't seem to be the case anymore, certainly not for Rachel Notley. I mean, Trudeau's a lost cause, but at least you think that the premier of oil country would be sticking up for us. But no, for her, it's just it seems like a game, honestly, a political game that she's just barely hanging on to so that she can try and get elected next term.
And can anybody really not understand why we can't get a pipeline done when the energy ministry bureaucrats are worried about helping Rachel Notley win the next election instead of saving 8,000 jobs directly tied to TMX? I mean, that's the story of this government, though. Nothing is their fault. And their priorities are just so skewed. They were focused on saving their own political shirts instead of, keeping clothes on the back of the children of 8,000 oil patch workers.
Absolutely. There's that. It's either a past government's fault or another government entirely. You're right. It is never Rachel Notley's fault. There's that. There's the blame, name and blame game. And then there's the fact that our confederation is in shambles. The fact that we can't build such a simple project. I mean, I don't want to say it's simple. There's so much money being invested in this, and so many workers' jobs are on the line. But really, this should be simple, right? Like, it should be laying a pipe to tide water. That's what it needs to be. And there's just so many variables thrown into this, needless variables by our confederation from Quebec to BC, that are making this difficult purposely for either ideologically driven reasons or because they just really don't like Alberta for some reason. And at the end of the day, it's the workers and the children of those workers that are catching the flack for that.
That's an excerpt from my weekly full-length show, The Gun Show. On my show, I take on the issues of the day through my Alberta conservative lens, and I talk to the real newsmakers the mainstream media ignores. To get access to my show and all of our other premium content, click the link on the screen to subscribe today.